Fish is often called the perfect health food. Doctors recommend it for protein, for heart health, and for brain power. But here's the surprising truth. Once you're over 60, not every fish is your friend. Some common choices can quietly load your body with toxins, raise inflammation, or even make memory and balance worse. And the tricky part? These are the very fish many seniors eat every single week. The good news is, not all fish are risky. Some varieties are powerful protectors, rich in omega-3, low in mercury, and proven to support the brain, the heart, and healthy aging. In this video, we'll count down the 3 worst fishes you should never touch, and the 3 best ones you should eat more often. Quick question. Do you eat fish at least once a week? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Think for a moment. Does it sound like your own dinner plate? After 60, your body still benefits from fish, but it no longer handles certain risks the way it used to. The liver and kidneys, which once filtered toxins with ease, now work more slowly. The brain becomes more sensitive to metals like mercury, and the muscles and joints respond differently to inflammation. That means the same fish you enjoyed at 40 may not be the best choice at 70. Think of your body like a coffee filter that's worn thin. When it's new, water passes through cleanly, leaving impurities behind. But over time, the filter develops tiny tears. The same water runs through, but now more residue slips by. After 60, your body works like that thinner filter. Nutrients still come through, but so can hidden toxins. This is why fish becomes a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's one of the best sources of protein and omega-3 fatty acids. On the other, larger or poorly sourced fish may carry heavy metals, unhealthy fats, or excess sodium in processed forms. Here's the anticipation flag. It's not just about eat fish or don't eat fish. It's about knowing which kinds to avoid and which kinds to keep on your plate. Because the right fish can strengthen your heart and protect your brain, while the wrong ones can quietly chip away at both. Pause for a moment and think. When was the last time you questioned the type of fish on your plate? Not just whether it was fish at all? So before we count down the worst and best, let's look at the common mistakes many seniors make with fish without even realizing it. When it comes to fish, many seniors assume any choice is a good choice. But there are a few common mistakes that can quietly turn this healthy food into something less helpful. The first mistake is believing all fish are equally safe. It sounds reasonable. Fish is fish, right? But in reality, larger predatory fish like tuna, shark, or king mackerel often carry much higher mercury levels. Over time, those metals can build up in the brain and affect memory and balance. The second mistake is relying on processed fish. Frozen fish sticks, battered fillets, or canned varieties loaded with salt may taste convenient, but they bring hidden sodium and unhealthy fats that put stress on the heart. For older adults with blood pressure concerns, this is a quiet risk that often goes unnoticed. The third mistake is ignoring the source and size. Farm fish raised in crowded pens may contain more contaminants and lower omega-3 levels compared to wild-caught. And even within the same species, a larger fish can have 2 to 3 times the mercury of a smaller one. Here's a quick self-check. Do you ever feel brain fog, unusual fatigue, or indigestion after eating certain fish meals? If so, it may not be just aging. It could be the type of fish on your plate. And here's a short quiz. Which fish do you think is more mercury? Tuna or salmon? Type your guess in the comments, and we'll see if you're right when we get to the countdown. The good news is each mistake can be fixed with a simple swap. And once you know the worst offenders and the best protectors, you can enjoy fish again with confidence. So let's count down the 3 worst fish seniors should avoid, and then reveal the 3 you should eat more often. Let's begin our countdown with a fish that's affordable and popular, but not the best choice after 60. Farm tilapia. At first glance, tilapia seems harmless. It's mild in taste, inexpensive, and easy to cook. But most tilapia sold in supermarkets is farm-raised, and that changes the story. Farm tilapia are often raised in crowded pens and fed corn or soy-based diets instead of their natural foods. This results in higher omega-6 fats and lower omega-3s. For seniors, that imbalance can increase inflammation, exactly what the heart, joints, and brain don't need. Science supports this concern. A 2022 review in the Journal of Nutrition and Healthy Aging found that farm-raised tilapia contain nearly twice as much omega-6 fatty acid as omega-3. Another study in 2021 reported that frequent consumption of high omega-6 fish was linked to higher inflammation markers in older adults. Here's a quick self-check. Do you notice more joint stiffness or bloating after fish meals, even though you expected to feel lighter? If so, tilapia may be part of the reason. So what's the safer swap? Choose fish naturally rich in omega-3s and low in contaminants. Wild-caught salmon, sardines, or trout are all excellent options. And here's the backup option. If salmon or trout is too pricey, even canned sardines or mackerel in water can provide clean protein and omega-3s at low cost. Just rinse them lightly if they're packed in extra salt. Let's look at two stories. Maria, 67, ate tilapia several times a week because it was affordable, but she noticed her arthritis pain seemed worse. When her daughter encouraged her to swap tilapia for sardines twice a week, Maria felt her joints ease within a month. By contrast, Henry, 70, kept eating farm tilapia nearly every other day. Over time, his doctor noted rising inflammation markers and advised him to cut back. He resisted, thinking fish is fish. His joint pain continued, and his energy stayed low. And here's the emotional truth. Not all fish bring healing. Some choices that seem budget-friendly may quietly cost you comfort and energy in the long run. Here's your action step tonight. If you usually buy tilapia, swap just one meal this week for a can of sardines or a serving of wild salmon. See how your body responds. Now, let's move on to the second fish on our list, one that carries even greater concern because of toxins it collects as it grows. The second fish, or in this case, two types of fish, you should avoid after 60 are king mackerel and shark. These are large, predatory fish. Because they sit high on the food chain, they accumulate mercury and other heavy metals as they eat smaller fish. The longer they live, the more toxins build up in their bodies. And when you eat them, those toxins can slowly build up in yours. For seniors, this is especially concerning. The brain and nervous system become more sensitive to mercury exposure with age. Mercury doesn't just pass through quickly. It can linger in tissues, affecting memory, coordination, and even mood. Science has raised strong warnings here. A 2021 study published in Environmental Research found that older adults who consumed high mercury fish more than twice per month had significantly higher mercury levels in blood and urine tests. Another 2022 analysis in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease reported a link between long-term mercury exposure and increased risk of cognitive decline in seniors. That sounds technical, but here's the simple point. The bigger the fish, the more mercury it holds, and the more it can weigh your brain and memory down. Quick self-check. Do you ever notice unusual hand tremors, tingling in the fingers, or brain fog after certain fish meals? These can be early signs of mercury sensitivity. So what's a swap? Choose smaller, low-mercury fish that still deliver omega-3 benefits. Sardines, anchovies, and salmon are safer, cleaner options. Here's a backup option. If you enjoy the rich taste of mackerel, choose Atlantic or Pacific mackerel instead of king mackerel. These smaller species contain far less mercury and are considered safe for older adults. Two quick stories help illustrate the difference. Elaine, 68, used to order shark steaks when dining out, thinking it was a premium, healthy choice. Over time, she noticed memory lapses and fatigue. When her doctor tested her, her mercury levels were elevated. After switching to salmon and sardines, her energy improved and her concentration sharpened. By contrast, George, 72, dismissed mercury concerns as overblown. He continued eating king mackerel every week. Within a few years, he developed tremors in his hands and struggled with balance. His physician strongly suspected mercury as a contributor. And here's the emotional truth. What looks like a powerful fish on your plate may quietly weaken the power of your own body over time. Your action step tonight. If king mackerel or shark is on your grocery list or menu, cross it off and replace it with sardines, anchovies, or salmon this week. Now let's move to the number one worst fish for seniors, a type that many people keep in their pantry and eat regularly without realizing the hidden risk. Finally, the number one fish seniors should avoid is also one of the most common in the pantry. Canned tuna, especially albacore. For decades, canned tuna has been marketed as a healthy, affordable choice. And yes, it's high in protein. But albacore tuna, also called white tuna, carries a serious drawback. It tends to have much higher mercury levels than most other canned fish. Larger albacore live longer, accumulate more mercury, and pass it on to you. This is especially concerning after 60. The aging brain and nervous system are more vulnerable to toxic buildup. High mercury exposure doesn't always cause sudden symptoms, but over time it can raise the risk of memory lapses, mood changes, and cardiovascular stress. Science backs this up. A 2022 report from the FDA and EPA highlighted albacore tuna as one of the highest mercury-containing fish sold for regular consumption. Seniors who ate more than one serving per week were shown to have blood mercury levels 2 to 3 times higher than those who chose low-mercury fish. Another 2021 study in Public Health Nutrition linked frequent tuna intake with subtle declines in memory scores among older adults. Quick self-check. Do you eat canned tuna several times a week because it's quick and convenient? Do you sometimes feel brain fog or fatigue afterward? If yes, this habit may be quietly working against you. So what's the swap? Instead of albacore, choose light tuna made from smaller skipjack fish. It has far lower mercury levels. And here's the backup option. Skip tuna altogether and switch to canned salmon or sardines. They're just as convenient, affordable, and provide omega-3s without the mercury risk. Let's look at 2 stories. Patricia, 66, ate canned tuna sandwiches 3 times a week. When she switched from albacore to skipjack light tuna and added sardines once a week, her mercury levels dropped significantly at her next checkup, and she felt sharper. Meanwhile, Frank, 71, believed tuna is always safe and stuck with albacore every other day. Within a couple years, his doctor noticed elevated blood pressure and mild memory decline, both suspected to be worsened by mercury exposure. And here's the emotional truth. What feels like a safe, everyday staple may quietly steal clarity and energy over time. Your action step tonight. Check the label on your canned tuna. If it says albacore or white, limit it to no more than 1 can per week, or better yet, replace it with light tuna, salmon, or sardines. That completes our list of the 3 worst fish for seniors. But the story doesn't end here. Not all fish are harmful. In fact, the right ones can powerfully protect your brain, heart, and overall vitality. Let's now count down the 3 best fish you should eat more often after 60. Now let's turn to the fish you should eat more often after 60, starting with a small but mighty choice. Sardines. Sardines are often overlooked. They're small and expensive and usually sold in cans. But don't let their size fool you. Sardines are packed with nutrients that support healthy aging. They're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and calcium from the soft, edible bones. One of the biggest advantages of sardines is their low position on the food chain. Because they're small and short-lived, they don't accumulate mercury the way larger fish do. That makes them one of the safest fish for seniors to eat regularly. Science supports their power. A 2021 clinical trial in clinical nutrition found that older adults who ate 2 servings of sardines per week improved their vitamin D and omega-3 levels significantly, leading to better bone density and heart health markers. Another 2023 study in nutrients reported that seniors who consumed small fish like sardines had a lower risk of cognitive decline compared to those who rarely ate them. Here's a quick self-check. Do you sometimes skip fish because it feels expensive or complicated to cook? Sardines may be your answer, affordable, safe, and ready to eat straight from can. How can you make the swap? Replace 1 processed fish meal or a tuna sandwich with sardines on whole grain toast. Or add them to a salad with lemon and olive oil for a nutrient boost. And here's the backup option. If canned sardines and oil feel too heavy, choose those packed in water. You'll get the benefits without the extra calories. If you prefer variety, canned mackerel or anchovies can provide similar omega-3s. 2 quick stories bring this home. Evelyn, 69, always thought of sardines as poor man's food. But when she added them twice a week, she noticed more steady energy, and her doctor reported better cholesterol levels. By contrast, Paul, 72, dismissed sardines as too smelly and stuck with fried fish sticks instead. Over time, his weight crept up and his blood pressure stayed high, forcing him to rely on more medication. And here's the emotional truth. Sometimes the smallest choices pack the biggest protection. A tiny fish can guard your heart, bones, and brain in ways a pill never could. Your action step this week. Swap 1 can tuna or fried fish meal for sardines. Aim for just 2 servings a week and see how your body responds. Now, let's move on to the second fish on our must-eat list, one that combines taste, availability, and some of the strongest evidence for protecting the heart and brain. The second fish you should add more often after 60 is wild-caught salmon. Salmon has long been praised as a superfood, and for good reason. It's one of the richest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids which support heart health, reduce inflammation, and protect the brain. It also provides vitamin D and high-quality protein to maintain strong muscles and bones. But here's the catch. Not all salmon is the same. Wild-caught salmon generally has higher omega-3 levels and lower contaminants compared to farmed salmon, which may carry more pollutants and less favorable fat balance. Science confirms the benefits. A 2021 study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who ate wild salmon twice a week improved markers of heart health, including lower triglycerides and reduced inflammation. Another 2023 trial in Frontiers in Aging reported that older adults who added salmon to their diets had better memory scores and slower cognitive decline compared to those who ate little or no salmon. Quick self-check. Do you ever feel like your memory is slipping or your energy doesn't last through the day? Adding salmon could be one of the most practical supports for both your brain and your body. Here's the swap. Replace red meats or fried fish meals with baked or grilled wild salmon twice per week. It can be as simple as 4 ounces per serving, about the size of your palm. And here's the backup option. If fresh wild salmon isn't available or feels too expensive, frozen wild salmon fillets work just as well. Canned salmon is another affordable, convenient choice. Just look for wild-caught on the label. 2 quick stories show the difference. Helen, 70, started adding wild salmon fillets twice a week. Within months, her cholesterol improved, her energy stabilized, and she felt more focused in her daily life. By contrast, Victor, 74, relied on fried fish sandwiches and avoided salmon because of the cost. Over time, his blood pressure remained high, and his doctor increases medication. And here's the emotional truth. Salmon isn't just food. It's fuel for clearer thinking, stronger muscles, and a steadier heart. Your action step this week. Plan 2 salmon meals. Whether baked, grilled, or from a can, commit to adding it twice in the next 7 days. Think about your own nights and mornings. Do you see how small food choices like this might explain why you feel either sluggish or steady? You've now made it through 2 of the 3 best fish, sardines and salmon. And here's the progress marker. You're 2/3 of the way through the must-eat list. Only 1 fish remains, and it might surprise you. Maybe you thought avoiding fish altogether was the safest choice. But as you can see, the right fish doesn't just protect your body. It can actively restore your energy, your memory, and your confidence in aging well. That's your midpoint reframe. Fish isn't the problem. Choosing the right fish is the solution. Now, let's move on to the number 1 best fish for seniors, a clean, nutrient-rich option that supports the heart, the brain, and daily vitality. The number 1 fish seniors should add after 60 is rainbow trout. Trout doesn't always get the spotlight like salmon or tuna, but it deserves a place at the top of your list. Why? Because rainbow trout is one of the cleanest, safest, and most nutrient-rich fish available. Trout is naturally high in omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin B12, and high-quality protein. Unlike larger ocean fish, trout are smaller, shorter-lived, and usually farm in controlled freshwater environments in the U.S., where regulations keep contaminant levels low. This means less mercury and fewer pollutants, making a smart, safe option for older adults. Science supports this choice. A 2021 USDA nutrition analysis ranked rainbow trout among the top fish for nutrient density and safety, with some of the lowest mercury levels tested. A 2023 study in nutrients showed that seniors who ate trout at least once a week had better cognitive performance and lower markers of systemic inflammation compared to those who rarely ate fish. In simple terms, trout gives you the good fats and brain support without the baggage of toxins you find in bigger fish. Quick self-check. Do you want a fish that's easy to prepare, widely available, and safe enough to eat weekly without worry? Trout may be your answer. Here's how to make the swap. Replace one red meat dinner with a rainbow trout fillet. Simply bake, grill, or pan-sear with lemon and herbs. Even a single 4-ounce portion once or twice a week can make a difference. And here's the backup option. If trout isn't available in your area, Arctic char or even farmed U.S. catfish are reasonable alternatives with low mercury levels and a good nutrient profile. 2 quick stories show the difference trout can make. Donna, 68, wanted a simple fish she could cook without fuss. She began buying rainbow trout fillets from her local market once a week. Within months, she noticed her energy felt steadier, and her doctor praised her improved cholesterol and vitamin B12 levels. Meanwhile, Carl, 73, avoided fish because he thought all seafood is risky. He stuck with fried chicken and burgers instead. Over time, his weight increased, his blood pressure rose, and his doctor urged him to rethink his protein choices. And here's the emotional truth. Sometimes a quiet, overlooked choice is the one that protects you best. Rainbow trout may not be famous, but it delivers steady strength, brain support, and peace of mind. Your action step this week. Try one rainbow trout meal. Bake it with a squeeze of lemon, or swap it in for chicken at dinner. Notice how light yet satisfying it feels compared to heavier meats. That completes our list of the 3 best fish seniors should eat regularly. Sardines, salmon, and trout. Together with the 3 to avoid, you now have a clear guide to make fish your ally, not your risk. Now, let's look at the quiet flags your body may already be giving you when fish choices aren't working in your favor. Before we wrap up the countdown, it's important to talk about the quiet warning signs your body may already be giving you. The early whispers are easy to dismiss. You might feel mild brain fog after a meal, unusual fatigue, or a heavy stomach that lingers for hours. Some people notice joint stiffness or restless sleep on the days they eat certain fish. These signals seem small, but they're worth paying attention to. Then there are the louder red flags. Numbness or tingling in the hands, tremors, sudden dizziness, or unexplained memory lapses should never be ignored. These may be linked to mercury sensitivity, poor digestion, or high sodium intake from processed fish. If they show up, it's your body raising its voice. Medication adds another layer. If you take blood thinners, high doses of omega-3 from fish oil or fatty fish may increase bleeding risk. If you're on blood pressure medicine, too much salted or canned fish can make the drug less effective. Not everyone will notice these interactions, but older adults are more vulnerable. Think of it this way. Your body whispers first, then it speaks louder, and if nothing changes, it shouts. The earlier you act on the whispers, the less likely you'll ever hear the shout. So now that we've covered the red flags, let's bring it back to real life and see how these fish choices, both to avoid and to add, fit into different lifestyles. Everyone's lifestyle looks a little different, which means the way you apply these fish choices will look different too. First, the simple eater. This is the person who doesn't want complicated recipes or long shopping trips. For them, the change is easy. Swap an albacore tuna for canned sardines or salmon once or twice a week. It's quick, affordable, and ready to eat straight from the can. Next is the planner. This person likes schedules, lists, and knowing what's coming next. For them, the smart move is penciling in 2 salmon dinners and 1 trout dinner each week. By preparing frozen fillets ahead of time, they never have to wonder what's for dinner, and their heart and brain stay protected. Then we have the supplement user. They're careful with vitamins, fish oil, and medications. For them, it's important to balance pills with actual food. Instead of depending on capsules alone, they add 1 serving of sardines or trout every week. That way, their omega-3s come from nature, not just a bottle, and their medication routine feels more steady. Finally, there's a social cook. This person loves to share meals with family and friends. For them, preparing a simple grilled salmon or trout dinner once a week is more than nutrition. It's connection. They avoid serving high-mercury fish to guests and instead create a meal that brings both health and joy to the table. So which one sounds most like you? The simple eater, the planner, the supplement user, or the social cook? Comment below and share your answer. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. There are 3 fish seniors over 60 should avoid. Farmed tilapia, often higher in omega-6 and linked to inflammation. King mackerel and shark, both large predators with high mercury levels. Canned albacore tuna, a common pantry staple, but one of the most mercury-heavy choices. And there are 3 fish worth adding. Sardines, tiny but rich in omega-3s, vitamin D, and calcium. Wild-caught salmon, powerful for heart, brain, and muscle health. Rainbow trout, clean, nutrient-rich, and safe enough to eat weekly. Here's the empowering truth. It's not too late. No matter your age, changing what's on your plate this week can protect your brain, steady your energy, and ease stress on your heart. If this video reminded you of someone, a spouse, a friend, or even a neighbor who eats tuna every week, share it with them. Your share might help them avoid years of discomfort or confusion. And before we close, here's a sneak peek at what's next. In the upcoming video, we'll cover 5 everyday food seniors should never reheat, and why doing so could quietly harm your digestion or even your memory. You won't want to miss it. Congratulations! You've now completed the full countdown of the 3 worst and 3 best fish after 60. Before we close, remember this video is for educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Fish can be a powerful part of a healthy diet, but it is not a cure for disease. Think of these swaps as supportive choices that may help you feel stronger, steadier, and more energized day to day. Too much of any fish, even the healthier ones, can still carry risks. Overeating fatty fish may thin the blood too much, while eating too many canned or salted products can raise blood pressure. If you take medications for blood pressure, blood thinners, or cholesterol, keep in mind that certain fish and supplements can change how those medicines work. Always talk with your doctor before making major changes in your diet. And most importantly, learn the warning signs that need urgent attention. If you experience chest pain, sudden confusion, tremors, severe dizziness, fainting, or shortness of breath, call 911 immediately. Use the information here as a gentle guide to support your choices at the dinner table, but always pair it with the advice of your trusted healthcare provider. Your health and safety come first.